defense did a great job coming through in the clutch at the end of the game, but we didn't do much to help them out there. We got to start changing the way it looks.
The NFL is a very volatile business. We've discussed it on this YouTube channel ad nauseum, and I don't think there's a better example of that than what is currently happening to Davante Adams, who looks livid out there with the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, this has been boiling up to this point for some time. We made a video on this a few weeks ago, and now I think it's reached a breaking point right before the trade deadline, which is definitely going to have some Raiders fans having a conversation. So before we get to the content, make sure you drop a like, subscribe to help the channel grow. Now that we got all of that out of the way, work! Leading up to the season, I spammed predictions at you guys consistently. Michael Porter Jr. needed over 5.5 rebounds in his season debut. Tyreek Hill just needed a touchdown, and Steph Curry just needed 1 point. Shout out to those that tailed. For those of you guys that were able to make money, we're giving away our picks for free all season long for the NBA and NFL on my Instagram at TheFlightMike. And right now, when you use promo code microphone on Prize Picks, they'll match your deposit up until $100. Thank you, Prize Picks, for the sponsor. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? It wasn't supposed to be this way for Davante Adams and the Las Vegas Raiders. During the 2021 season, Derek Carr had one of his most heroic seasons to date, throwing for a career high in passing yards. Despite all of the off-the-field distractions, there was the resignation of John Gruden because of those leaked emails, and then there was the horrific, terrible Henry Ruggs tragedy where he drove under the influence and crashed into a woman, which resulted in the loss of her life. Then there was whatever the hell this was from Damon Arnett. Through it all, Derek Carr had a remarkable season alongside Rich Bisaccia, the interim head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders, which resulted in a playoff berth. The result, Derek Carr got a 3-year, $121.5 million contract extension with the Raiders. And Davante Adams chose Derek Carr over Aaron Rodgers. Something that wasn't discussed enough during the 2022 offseason was the fact that the Green Bay Packers offered Davante Adams the same amount of money that the Las Vegas Raiders were going to offer him. That wasn't the problem. The problem for Davante Adams was the fact that he knew Aaron Rodgers' days in Green Bay were numbered. So, what was his next best option? Reuniting with his collegiate football teammate Derek Carr that got him into the NFL to begin with. And in one full season with Derek Carr, Davante Adams didn't miss a beat. As a matter of fact, he had his second greatest season of his career with Derek Carr under center, receiving 14 touchdowns and getting over 1,500 receiving yards. But eventually, Josh McDaniels decided to oust Derek Carr and bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, which resulted in a lot of dead cap for the Las Vegas Raiders because they just signed him to a contract extension 1 year earlier, and now you're moving on from him. I've been on record saying repeatedly that I don't think the upgrade from, I guess if you want to call it an upgrade, from Derek Carr to Jimmy Garoppolo is worth it at all whatsoever. It's just Josh McDaniels bringing in his people to buy into his system as opposed to building a system around the players that he already has. And whenever a head coach does that, in my opinion, it's very problematic. Now, if you remember, Davante Adams handled Derek Carr's benching last year with grace. This was his reaction at the time.
Well, I mean, I don't want to sit here and make this entire thing about that. I think we're just gonna knock this out in a little single hitter here. But I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody was excited about it in here. You know, him being one of my really good friends, and you know the reason why I came here in the first place. I mean, I wouldn't be here right now if he wasn't, if he wasn't here. So, I think everybody knows how I feel about him, and you know, with that said, there's a process of how things go, and I'm not gonna sit here and go on and on. But obviously, I support my guy, and you know, we got to finish the season out, you know, the best way we can possible with, you know, all things considered at this point. But Yeah, anything else that you guys got, you can leave that for Coach or Derek.
And he even reaffirmed his commitment to the Las Vegas Raiders upon Derek Carr's departure.
Davante, you came here, you took less money, you could have got more from Green Bay. This is a team you grew up loving. I know this team in the offseason will make decisions that you don't have a say in, but if they get you a quarterback that you know can get you a ball, do you want to come back and be a Raider again next year?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, I came here, I wouldn't have been here or ended up here originally probably, if Derek wasn't here, but it doesn't necessarily mean that I won't be here, in the event that he's not here. That's my boy. Obviously, I got his back and everything. I think I've made that more than clear at this point, and I support him and support everything that he has, moving forward as well. But, my dream was to play for this team before he was a Raider, obviously, and at this point, I want to, obviously try to make this thing work and continue on doing what I'm doing here, and myself get better, and obviously see the team grow and get better as well.
But shortly after the Raiders got Jimmy Garoppolo, Davante Adams made it known that he was concerned about the direction of the offense. And when Josh McDaniels was asked about it, he just swept it under the rug.
Yeah, Tay and I have a great relationship. I know he does with Dave as well, and he's here every day. And I didn't read the whole thing, so I don't really know exactly, every nook and cranny of that. But I don't think there's much drama here in terms of, my relationship, his relationship with us, the way he works, the way he goes about his business. Obviously, he had a great year last year, and just looking forward to year 2.
So how would things go? Well, in the beginning of the season, Davante Adams would get many targets, as he should. He is the wide receiver 1 for the Las Vegas Raiders. Against the Denver Broncos, which the Las Vegas Raiders would win, Davante Adams received 9 targets. Against the Bills, which the Raiders would lose, he got 8 targets. Now, against the Pittsburgh Steelers, which the Raiders would lose, he got 20 targets. And then against the Chargers, which the Raiders would lose, he would get 13 targets. Now, the reason I'm bringing up his targets is despite some of the victories, Davante Adams was very critical about his team and the offense once again.
It more was about, not even making it as close as what it was, because a game like that, we needed to have some type of convincing victories. That way we can really hold on to that feeling, not the feeling of just squeezing out. Obviously, defense did a great job coming through in the clutch at the end of the game, but we didn't do much to help them out there, and we haven't been this year. So that's more what I'm focused on, rather than just squeezing victories by and being happy at that. I feel like there's more to take from, a game than just the win or loss. Depending on, you can be on either side. Obviously, you'd rather win regardless, but you can win a game and look, and we've done that too many times. So
I'm sure people thinking like, they won the game, they won the Packers game, so why is there an issue? Let's see why it's an issue. Y'all should know who I am, know what I'm about at this point. So it's not about, when you're a player like me mentally, my benchmark is not wins and losses, it's greatness. So when I go out there, I expect to be able to have that ability to put that on tape and have an influence on the game. And that's, like I say every week, that's my purpose for me.
Brings us to Monday Night Football, the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Detroit Lions. And in this game, Josh Jacobs had a very solid outing. The Las Vegas Raiders defense performed very well as well. Max Crosby did his thing. Jared Goff threw a pick 6 to Marcus Peters, and it was within a few points following that play. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo would get sacked 6 times. He would only complete 10 of his passes, and some of them were thrown into double coverage, and there were instances where he just completely missed Davante Adams in general. The result of this was Davante Adams would only get 1 reception and 11 yards, despite being targeted 6 times. And he was really pissed off following this game. You could just see the emotion in his face, because I think we could all agree this was a very winnable game for the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, we have Davante Adams' post-game interview, and what he says in that post-game interview honestly blew my mind. Given the circumstances that he's in, to react in this way just blows me away, honestly. But reporters also asked Josh Jacobs what can be done to fix the Las Vegas Raiders offense. And bear in mind, Josh Jacobs, defending NFL rushing champion, he was a stud last year, carried this offense, and he just simply said, that ain't my job. So clearly, a lot of people are frustrated at Josh McDaniels, And if you're a fan of the Las Vegas Raiders, you're either mad at Josh McDaniels or mad at Jimmy Garoppolo. So if you're a Raiders fan, I want to know who you're pointing the blame finger at. But this is what Davante Adams had to say.
Honestly, I don't know what to say at this moment. I truly don't. I wish I had the words to say something that's not going to get blown up in the media and taken out of context. So I'm going to just, I just don't know.
What are you feeling right now? Can you elaborate on anything going through your mind?
Frustration, but I mean, that kind of goes without saying.
Davante, I know you said that you have confidence whenever you're out there in offense's ability, but is it kind of hard to maintain that when the results are what they've been?
No, it's not hard to maintain the confidence in our offense. It's just hard to curb your frustration when you can't put it together when you know you should.
I don't think Davante Adams is going to get traded before the NFL trade deadline. You typically don't get a wide receiver one in the middle of the NFL season. It's just way too complicated to integrate a player of Davante Adams' caliber into a brand new offense. If Davante Adams is going to be traded, he's going to get traded in the offseason. And if I'm the Las Vegas Raiders, I'm thinking long and hard about this because clearly this entire offense is a mess. Josh McDaniels is trying to essentially turn the Las Vegas Raiders into his version of the New England Patriots, hence why he went out and got Jacoby Myers, hence why originally he signed Chandler Jones, hence why he started Brian Hoyer over Aiden O'Connell last week. It's kind of like when you fall in love with a girl. It's like when you fall in love with a toxic woman. Like, you might think she's pretty, you might think she has a fat ass, you might think that she has all of the boxes checked. And since you're so in love with her, you might be ignoring the red flags. And I think in the case of Mark Davis, he's looking at Josh McDaniels like he's a chick with a fat ass. And with all the other boxes checked, primarily the fat ass part, he's ignoring the most important things. He's ignoring the red flags. He's ignoring the fact that his team is suffering this year. And he's ignoring the fact that he doesn't stand a chance at winning his division with Josh McDaniels as his head coach. He's ignoring the fact that his top asset is miserable and he needs to do something about it. Let me know in the comment section down below, what should the Las Vegas Raiders do? Because I think we all could agree on one thing, and that's Davante Adams deserves better. We're going to be covering the NFL trade deadline extensively tomorrow. Make sure you're subscribed and have our notifications on to stay in tune. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.